right, Tommy, and he's like, hey, you know, did you sleep with my wife? Like, I could forgive you, but you have to tell me. You have to be honest. And of course, actually nothing happened. So he's like, no, what are you talking about? Like, you know, are you all right? Like, chill out, dude. Like, nothing happened. And so they keep going, and I don't think Tobey Maguire's character really believes them. He thinks that they're, you know, he's being paranoid, and everything in his head and everything that he's went through, he just can't move past that. And so his relationship with his daughters is falling apart. And then there's the scene where it's the older daughter's birthday, and so Isabel, the younger daughter, is getting annoyed because nobody's really paying attention to her. And I think that she kind of became so used to Tommy, Sam's brother, being the man of the house and stuff, that she was hoping in her mind that he would be, you know, that he would stick around, or they would, you know, Tommy and Grace would end up together. And so during the party, Tommy shows up with another, you know, like a girl that it's obvious that they went on a date, or, you know, and he's brought her along. The little daughter is not a fan of this, and so she starts throwing a tantrum while everybody's at the dinner table, and which is one of the two probably iconic scenes in this, in my opinion. So she keeps doing like weird things to be rude to whoever's talking, and she's like, you know, continues to do this, and Tobey Maguire's character is growing more and more heated. And so Isabel ends up grabbing one of a balloon, and she's doing this crazy ass, like, almost pinching along, making like these crazy ass noises. I'm not sure how to describe it correctly. But it's just super obnoxious, but she's crying and clearly hurt. And you know, finally there's like this interruption where Tobey Maguire's character snaps, and he jumps up and he pops the balloon from his daughter's hand, and he's like, would you stop? And then that's when Isabel, his youngest daughter, she snaps on him, and she's like, you're just mad because mommy would rather have sex with Tommy. Why couldn't you just stay dead or something, she says, right?
Yeah.
Which is super fucked up. So then, now, you have to think about, now in Sam's mind, his suspicions have been confirmed by his daughter, because he's like, yeah, you know, she's so young, why would she lie about this? There must be some kind of shroud of truth. Then the oldest daughter's like, gets upset, and she's like, okay, I want to go home, I'm tired. So then Sam and Grace take the girls home, and then Grace finds Sam in the living room with what looks like a crowbar. You know, he's very calm, and he basically walks into the kitchen, and she follows, and he's like, do you know what I did to get back to you? And she goes, no, because at this point he hasn't told anybody that he has, you know, basically had to kill his friend with his bare hands. So he's still holding on to that guilt at this point. And you know, he just goes to town on the kitchen that was just installed by Tommy, his brother, and a bunch of Tommy's friends. So it's very clear that he targets that kitchen because that was like that sign of hope for Tommy, or like that sign of change, and something that he did positive for the house. And it's Sam's house technically, so it's almost like him trying to regain ownership, I guess, of that in a way, which is interesting. But yeah, he just completely fucks up the kitchen, and is yelling obscenities the whole time.
Yeah, that scene is definitely it's crazy. The tension is insane, and the movie does a very good job, like, building up to that scene. Again, why it feels so real is because obviously we all haven't been in that situation to where like that specific situation, but like I felt like shit when he said that, and in Natalie Portman's character Grace, you see her her reaction when he says that is insane. It's crazy, and also too, like, it's kind of maybe obviously she doesn't know what went on over there because he won't tell her at this point, and what's crazy is that, like, that line kind of is almost like he's like throwing it in her face, from what I took away from it, like, to where he made that sacrifice, and so, which is totally not fair for her, but yeah, dude, that scene is fucking crazy.
Yeah, he does say a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense, like I suffered for you, or like everything was for you, or whatever. And then, yeah, it's clear that he's trying to make her feel terrible, which is crazy. But I think he just had this like mental breakdown over, his daughter saying all of these explicit things that she shouldn't even know about. And right before, things explode with Sam, Grace, Natalie Portman, goes up and tucks the daughters into bed, and she asks Isabel, like, why did you say that? It's not true. And she says, it's because I don't like Daddy anymore. I'd rather have Tommy around. And then the other girl, his other daughter, agrees, like, yeah, me too. And so, and then even going back to, like, kind of, like, when he first gets back, he can tell, he knows that things aren't well at home, so he tries to, like, get deployed again. Which is fucking insane. That you would be willing to go out that quick, and it's just like, he's just like, I can't, with all due respect, I can't be at home. There's nothing for me there anymore, And even when they have that big fight in the kitchen, he says, what am I supposed to do now? So he feels like there's nothing left. And during that fight, his brother Tommy ends up kind of sneaking in through the back. And he walks up to him real slow, and he gives him like this hug, like he knows that there's something bigger going on internally with Sam. Sam seems kind of into it for a while, like comforted, and then he kind of reverts back to like his being angry, and he pulls out a handgun on Tommy, and then by that time the cops were called. I'm not sure if the parents called or if Tommy called, in anticipation of getting to the house. But things escalate. Everybody, ends up outside. Sam is very kind of upset that the police were called, and he goes outside and tells them to fuck off, pretty much. Like, this is a family matter. Everything's fine. The cops are like, oh, you're a war hero, everything's fine, sir. And then that sets off Sam even worse, where he's like, I'm no fucking hero. And then he pulls out his weapon, and of course the police draw their weapons, and it's a super tense situation that happens. And then of course Tommy is able to to a certain degree, de-escalate the situation. And, you know, Sam is arrested and later released, and he kind of is starting to come to terms with what he did. And he knows he's wrong, so then the rest of the film is basically him kind of apologizing and like coming to terms with you know, at this point he still hasn't told Grace about what he did to his best friend. And then that's pretty much the end of the film. Is like, she's like, you know, dude, like if you can't be honest with me about this, then you're never gonna see me again. And then so he tells her like, yeah, I killed him. It kind of ends super abruptly. I don't know what else I would have wanted, but I felt like that was like a bit of a letdown, I guess, as far as the ending. But
yeah, it does just kind of, like you said, it abruptly ends. I forgot what he says as it ends, but you're kind of left like,
he's like, oh, I have seen war, but like, how do I live after? Or some kind of epic quote, like how do I move on from the the aftermath of being at war?
Yeah, I can see where it just like you said, it kind of ends abruptly, and you kind of maybe want like a little bit more. But I think like the way I took the ending is that it was just you know, the uncertainty of his life after that, and I that's how I took it, on like how and why the movie ended like that so abruptly.
Is we don't know if he's going to actually be able to return to like a normal life, or like, right?
Because he doesn't know.
Yeah. What would you give this film as far as a rating?
I would probably give it like a solid 8.5.
Wow, it's no Crazy Stupid Love, huh?
Listen, nothing is ever going to be Crazy Stupid Love, okay? Yeah, I think a 8.5 or like 8.75 is a solid number.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't too much I didn't like about it. I think, like you said about the ending, that's all. Maybe it felt a little short.
Like a bit rushed, like almost like they didn't know how they would top that. You know what I mean? But,
yeah. But yeah, dude. Other than that, yeah. What about you?
As far as the rating would go, I would say this is like a solid 8.5. I think for me, huge rewatch value, a solid score, solid cast all around. Even the minor characters are great when they show up in this. And yeah, it's something that I feel watching it. I watched it last week sometime, and I was like, damn, this hasn't aged at all. Like, it feels timeless, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like when I first watched it for the first time, it made me feel the exact same way, you know what I mean? There's nothing in it that, at least in my opinion, that, you know, is now offensive or didn't age well, or everything is just still shockingly relevant, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Considering obviously what Maguire is capable of with his acting chops in this, I'm surprised he hasn't. Maybe it was a conscious choice. I'm not sure, but I wonder why he hasn't done anything in so long.
Yeah, no, dude. After this it was just It wasn't much, right? Like Gatsby, and that's it.
So then next week,